Welcome to the Bad Mom Show, where we flip the script on shame, shed light on what's made you feel invisible, and take your story back. It is time to step into that bold, baddie mom you were created to be. Around here, BAD stands for blessed, already approved of, and divinely designed, because you are not a bad mom. You are a leader. You were chosen for your family on purpose. You are divinely designed and anointed as the heart of your home, and you can confidently own your mantle of leadership as a fiery woman to lead with boldness, not burnout. This is your space to reclaim the parts of your story that have felt like weaknesses and discover they were actually your superpowers all along. It is time to shine as a BAD mom. Are you with me? Let's go. Hey, and welcome back to the Bad Mom Show. I am so glad you are here. Well, today I've got a message. I had so many ideas, things that I wanted to share with you. I had just come back from Freedom Academy, which is a training that I'm going through with Carrie Garcia. It is incredibly deep work. It's part of why I'm so passionate about the things that I talk about here, just healing our hearts, knowing our stories, all the work that comes with it. Man, this training was deep, and so I do have a lot that I want to share with you from that. But then we experienced something very impactful last week as a nation with Charlie Kirk's assassination. And oh, the weight of it all, and just the shock and the horror. And I didn't know how to go on, like how to move forward with my message without acknowledging what we just went through, because truthfully, it changed things. It changed me. It changed the energy of our nation, of our world. It impacted things in a way where I just felt like I can't go back to just sharing what I was going to share without acknowledging this massive moment that we all experienced together. And this is not a political message. This is not one way or the other what you believe about him as a person. What it is soul level stuff. This is watching a life be taken, and it doesn't matter where you stand politically on that. It is wrong and it is horrifying, and it impacted us all greatly. And it's been hard. It's been really hard to shake that heaviness because it's real, it's grief. And I know that this week I was like, man, I just want to shake it. I just want to, like, why can't I just move on? And there's something to that. And I believe that there's something that God's calling us to in that grief. But part of it really is a life tragically stolen before our eyes. That is heavy. That is sad. As a woman, as a mom, as a wife, I grieve for a fellow mother and a wife who is now a very young widow. I grieve for her children who are never going to know their dad intimately, the things that they are going to miss, those moments that they never get to have. I grieve for his parents who just lost their son. It's very sad on so many levels, and it does hurt deeply. And, I had to just kind of step back a little bit this past week and just get quiet. Like I had to get off social media. I couldn't keep watching the news. And I know that there have been people have been commenting on prominent figures that who did the same. People probably didn't notice that I went quiet. Hey, well, sorry. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry, okay? But there were, celebrities and people that got some slack for not coming out and saying something right away. And I saw a message that was like, I needed to take time and step back and get quiet and just process what was just experienced. And I understand that because I didn't want to come on here with words for you that I didn't even I didn't even have words for. It's not my job to come on here and try to fix it. right? And I think a lot of people want to come in and have the answer and bring hope, and that's great, but I'm not your answer, right? God is your answer. And praise the Lord that we have seen that as a result of this tragedy this past week. Um, but I had to just honor that time that I needed to get quiet with God. And I was reminded of a message from our pastor on Sunday who was talking about it. And he was like, listen, this is heavy and this is sad. And we are troubled, but we can't stay stuck in trouble. We can't stay weighed down in worry and sorrow and just wallow in it because we are people of triumph because we have Jesus. So we need to get up and we need to walk in triumph. And I was like, heck yeah. So, yes, this has been really hard and sad, but it has also fired me up. It has given me such just confirmation in my spirit that this message that I come on here to share, it matters so much. That your identity, knowing your authority as a mother, standing in that mantle of leadership with boldness and courage is so important, if no other time than now. And I just, I want to help you, equip you to know without a shadow of a doubt that your significance in your family, in your community, it matters. That you have power and influence that you have not even tapped into. But especially with your children, God is calling you, especially in this hour, to step up into your divine authority in your home as a chosen leader. So I just want to embolden you today. I want you to come away from this feeling ready to rise up instead of shrinking back, to embrace those fiery parts of you, that fierce, loving, nurturing energy, protective too, and not hide. No more shrinking back and hiding, but walking out God's calling for you. So, I want to share a few things that has have come to me this past week about how we walk out in triumph. How do we come out of that sense of being troubled and walk out in triumph? Well, the first thing is remembering that God is a God of restoration and redemption, that nothing is wasted. I feel like I was so humbled this week because I was like, wow, we are really small minded in what we think God can do. Hey, friend, thank you so much for being here and following the Bad Mom Show. I would love to hear from you, so let's connect. After the show, send me a DM and let me know what's hitting home for you. What do you struggle with the most as a mom? And what topics would you like to hear more about? This show is all about connection in the community because that is how we truly grow. So reach out to me at the Teresa Todd on Instagram, Facebook, or even TikTok, and I cannot wait to hear from you. Here we witness an awful tragedy, and within hours, like hours, we watched the hand of God move over people. And it was so humbling to witness. I don't honestly know if I've ever seen the hand of God move so swiftly to take a tragic situation and use it for good. It was so incredible. The number of people that have been turning to God for the first time, saying, I was an atheist and now I'm questioning everything. It's the first time I've actually spoken to God or asked God to speak to me. People opening their Bibles for the first time, overflowing the churches on Sunday, feeling convicted to be a better spouse, to be a better husband, to be a better wife, focusing on healthy marriages. I know for myself, I felt very convicted in just my habits, like, man, am I being disciplined enough in my life? Being a kinder, more gentle, present parent, thinking about what do you do with your time? How are you spending it? Are you just distracted and busy and not making time for the people in your life that matter? It brought this moment of reflection for all of us that life is precious and we do not know the number of days that we have. And it's not to sound grim, but it's like, wow, I mean, you have this life and it's precious. So let's make the most of it. And God wants to use you. So and just seeing all the people, the kids coming together and praying in community, getting in community. I mean, we are meant to be in connection and closeness and community, not in isolation. So all of that was so uplifting and empowering to me. Um, and I hope it was for you too. And it brought a few scriptures to mind. So, I always got to mention a scripture or two. Just remember Romans 8:28, that he takes what was meant for evil and harm and he redeems it for our good. Ephesians 3:20, that he is a God of superabundance, that he can do above and beyond our wildest dreams. And then this one I love, Genesis 50:20. And I truly felt like when I read this verse really spoke to Charlie Kirk's impact. It said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." And I thought, wow, that really does sum it all up. Like his impact in death has been so much greater than it was in life. And in life, it was pretty darn good. Um, but it has really just multiplied in a way that we couldn't do that. That is all God. And it is all to the glory of God. And that to me is pretty powerful. So that gives me hope and makes me want to walk in triumph. The next thing, super important thing, is do not fear. Do you know how many times it says in the Bible, do not fear? Do you know? 365 times. So that's one time for every single day of the year. Why would God say that so many times? Well, it's not even just God, but prophets, disciples. Why would it be said so many times? Because God knew that the enemy was going to come after us with fear. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy, not just literally. He comes to steal your peace, to steal your joy, to intimidate you, to destroy your belief in yourself, destroy relationships, like create conflict between neighbor and neighbor. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy through fear and intimidation. So, um, I know people get a little upset, but it's very evident that this is a spiritual battle. And the enemy would like nothing more than for you to get wrapped up in fear and to not stand boldly in your authority or to never even know your authority as the daughter of the Most High King and what that means. He will never have that authority. And he knows that. So he doesn't want you to know that. But this is truly a battle, and you are in it, whether you like it or not. But this is nothing new. So when people say they're afraid, it might feel new to you, but this spiritual warfare has been going on since the beginning of time. I mean, think about the garden. It started right there in Genesis. So it is real. It has always been this way. We just saw a moment of it very starkly before our eyes, and now you can't unsee it. But this is a fallen world, and that doesn't mean get fearful and live in despair and want to hide. It means, okay, but I remember I'm on the side of victory because Jesus has already won. And so I need to walk, talk, and act like it and walk in some triumph and be a light in this dark world because that's what we are called to be. I have heard several friends just in our conversations about all of this say how terrified they are of the world that we're living in, that they don't even know what to think anymore, that they're afraid for their kids and the times that they're growing up in. What's the world going to be like when they're adults? And I'm going to share my response to them with you because it's going to be the same thing I'm going to say to you. God knew what he was doing when he chose your kids to be kids right now. He knew that they were going to be adults for the next generation of leaders. That to me is inspiring. He knew what he was doing, and he chose our kids to be the next generation of leaders, of light bearers, of hope warriors, of wisdom and strength. I am not putting my kids out into the world, launching them into the world as victims. No, I am going to equip them and embolden them with God's truth, speak life into them, teach them their true identity, lay that foundation of faith, and equip them to go out into this world as leaders. That is inspiring to me. That is empowering to me. And you know what else he chose? He chose us. to be moms right now for this season, for a reason. We are the ones. We get to raise up that next generation of leaders, of warriors, of new thinkers. That to me is a call. That is the assignment. That fires me up. I'm like, let's go. So if you're with me, let me know. Are you with me? Let's go. This never before. I mean, never before have I felt this message more deeply in my spirit. And I want you to get it into yours that there is so much purpose in your calling as a mom. And he chose you at this time to be their front lines. That's what we are. We are their front lines. In Jeremiah 1:5, he says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Speak that over your children. You are set apart. Speak that over yourself. I am set apart. He chose me on purpose right now, before I was even born, for this moment. Think of the story of Esther. She, if you don't know it, go look it up, but she knew that she could have been killed for approaching the king. But she did it anyway. She knew she faced death and she did it anyway. And she saved an entire nation, the Jews. She saved them because she faced her fear, but she knew that she was called. The verse is 4:14 that everybody quotes, where it says, perhaps you have been chosen for such a time as this. And she was. She was chosen for such a time. Her uncle said to her, if you keep silent, relief and deliverance will arise, but it won't come through you. And who knows? You may have been called to this kingdom for this time, for this very reason. And she was. And they walked in victory. So instead of looking around at your circumstances or at the, the predictions of the world, remind yourself that God's got this. He has his hand over this. He is hovering over it all. And he knew you before you were even born. He chose you. He set you apart. This is a moment for you to stand in your calling. And this is a moment for you to look at your kids and speak that life into them too. And we don't have to know how to say it ourselves, but we do have to use our weapons. So it's time to stand in the gap for your kids. We need to armor up. We need to get to our posts, ladies. Yes, you are a warrior. And use our greatest weapon, which is speaking out bold prayer with belief. That's the main part. You got to believe it. You got to speak it out and you got to believe it. So I'm going to give you some scriptures that you can speak out over your family, over your home, over your mind, over your marriage, and over the future. And refuse in this very moment. Say, I refuse to partner with fear any longer. It's going to come creeping in, but you don't have to agree with it anymore. Call it out when it comes around. Refuse to be distracted by what you see in the circumstances around you. Like I said, if the news is too much, turn it off. If social media is putting your mind in a tailspin, turn it off. You don't have to let those things into your mind. Really, what I tell my kids this all the time, what you focus on, what you're watching, what you're listening to, it influences your thoughts and your feelings, and it influences your soul and your heart. Okay, so we got to guard this thing. The Bible tells us, guard your heart above all else, because everything else flows from it. So guard this thing with your life. Here are some scriptures to tell yourself, to tell your kids, speak over yourself in the face of fear. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. That is a peaceful, calm, clear mind. Nehemiah 8:10. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Okay? So if you don't have the joy to stir up yourself, call on God's. It's your strength. Joshua 1:9. I love this one. He says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So, this was a commandment, y'all. He is commanding us. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. When you feel fear, when you feel discouragement, remind yourself, oh, that's right. God's got me. 1 Corinthians 6:13. This one sounds like a general speaking to his soldiers, telling them what to do in a battle. It says, be on guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, and be strong. I think we could write that down and we could take that with us, right? I think you could speak that over your kids. You could teach them how to speak it too. It's not really hard. Be on guard. Okay. Get to your posts. Stand firm in your faith. Do not be afraid. Be courageous and be strong. We can do this. Okay, another one that I love, Isaiah 41:10. So you shall not fear, for I am with you. You shall not be discouraged, for I am your God, and I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. He wants to help us. He wants to help you. And then I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but you should go look up Ephesians 6, 8, I'm sorry, 10 through 18. If you don't know the full armor of God, speak it out over yourself, speak it over your kids. It truly is so powerful. And that is how you armor up. You got to put on the armor of God. And he gives us literally every single step, everything to put on, starting from your head to your toes, and then a wraparound shield of faith. And then lastly is wield the double-edged sword, which is God's living and breathing word. So that's the power of speaking out these scriptures, these truths. It will help your mind shift out of fear and back to truth. And that's so important because that's going to shape how you think and then your perspective and how you're going to walk out. Are you going to walk out troubled or are you going to walk out in triumph? We're going to walk out in triumph. And lastly, if you're like me and you have a tendency to busy yourself when you feel anxious or worried and your mind's racing, and I mean, part of that is physical. You want to there's something about getting that energy out. We'll talk about that another day, but it's also a way of distracting from what you're really feeling. And I have really been convicted in this year about instead of getting busy, get still. It's not what I want to do. It doesn't feel comfortable, but it is extremely productive when I do it. And so I did do that this week. I just couldn't get my mind settled. And I felt like I was kind of walking in circles. And I was like, what do I do with myself first? And I just felt like God was like, come sit with me. Don't go run to the gym, don't jump into your to-do list or run to the grocery store and just get busy to the day. He's like, come sit with me. And so I did. And can I tell you, I sat there and I prayed and I got really honest and I cried and I journaled for, I'm going to say over 2 hours. I never let myself do that. And I know I should more often because it was really helpful. It gave me clarity, it gave me peace, and it reminded me of actually our verse at church this year. And I had this on my desk and I was like, oh, how lovely, the little reminder that is just sitting right there for you. And it's Psalm 46:10. It says, be still and know that I am God. If you keep going, it says, I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. But the first line right there, be still and then know. So we have to get still if we want to know what to do. So if you're feeling hopeless and you're questioning everything and you don't know what direction to take, or you want to do something, you're feeling that fire to be bolder or more courageous, as people are saying, like, hey, now's your time and you don't know what to do, go to God about it. Don't question, don't, poll your neighbors or your friends. Don't go to social media. Go to God. Get still. You don't even need to do a study. Just sit there and get quiet with him and ask him, and he will guide you. And last is Jeremiah 33:3. I do love this one too. It says, call to me and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. He has answers that we don't. He knows things that we long to know, and he will give you the answers that you need, even if it's just one little step. So do not fear. Walk in triumph today. Get still if you need to. Ask him. Wait until you hear from him. Speak these truths over yourself, over your family, over the future, and trust and believe that we serve a God who restores and redeems all broken things, and he will not waste one thing, and the victory has already been won. We get to walk in victory. We get to walk in triumph. Well, okay. It was a lot, but I hope it helped you today. I hope this message not only spoke to you, but I hope it ignited something in you, truly. A boldness, something in you to be more courageous, to own your authority in your home as the heart of your home, to get still with God, get honest, trust that His plans are good for you. And not only are they good, but they're like wildly beyond your imagination. And He's got this. He is never going to leave us. He will not. He will not leave your side. So, if this message spoke to you today, would you please do me a huge favor? Would you go and subscribe to the show if you haven't already, and then leave me a 5-star review. Leave a few words about what stuck out to you in this episode, and then share this with a friend, whether you send it directly to her or if you share it in your stories, tag me so I know and I can thank you. Help me spread this message to other moms who need help stepping out of worry and troubledness and stand up in triumph because today is a new day and we get to move forward together. New episodes of the Bad Mom Show drop every single Wednesday. So I hope you'll come back and join me next Wednesday. And until then, I will see ya.